Hello, I'm Dayana. Welcome to my practice. I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner and I'm here with you to share a very important series of awareness through movement lessons from the Feldenkrais method to address one of the most common pains that I treat in my private practice. That is neck and shoulder pain. No wonder why we hold devices all the time, sit for long periods of times at computers, desks, cars, you name it. And we sometimes have suboptimal sleeping positions. We are going to address all that today in one simple lesson, which will take about half an hour. For that, you're going to need a place to lie down that is comfortable, but not too soft. So I don't recommend your bed, more like the floor, a rag on the floor, or even a yoga mat. We are going to lie on our side. And for that, you're going to use either your arm under your head, like this. You can also place it like this. Or you can grab something like a pillow, or in this case, I have some gardening pads. Anything that keeps your head in line with the spine, so your head is not too high. This is one of the most common causes of pain while sleeping, by the way. I'm going to ask you to keep your legs bent and to place your upper arm either in front of you or alongside of your body. And you're going to see that the lesson will be guided in audio format. The reason for that is because we want to learn how to move and sense our movement, developing awareness about it. We don't want you to copy what I'm doing. We don't want you to direct your attention outside of yourself. The Feldenkrais method is based in brain plasticity, rewiring the way your brain moves, senses, feels, and thinks. In order to develop that skill set, you need to really turn attention within. You will see that many times throughout the lesson, you will be wondering, am I doing this right? Is this what she means? You can put all that aside and rest assured that you will find the best movement for your body in this particular time. When you do the lesson again, the movement might feel different. After the lesson, I'm going to ask you to get up, walk around, and try this in life. Apply it to daily life. Most likely you will find a new placement for your shoulders, for your head, and for your eyes that will be really useful for you to play with as you work, as you walk, and also as you read or hold your phone. Most importantly, have fun with this. And if you have any questions or need any support, know that you can always reach me. I am always available for free consultations and individual sessions, remotely and in person. Have fun with the lesson, and I will see you in the next one. Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Dayana and I will guide you through an awareness through movement session from the Feldenkrais method. To begin with, you're going to need a place to lie on the back and on the side on the floor, perhaps a little pillow for under your head and a space where you can walk around. So begin with by standing up and noticing the weight distribution on your feet. Do you feel heavier on one side compared with the other? More grounded perhaps, or more balanced? And as you're about to shift your weight to take a step forward, observe which foot wants to take that first step, what feels easier. And go ahead and take a step and two and just walk a few steps around your room, noticing how you carry yourself as you walk, the movement of your shoulders, your pelvis, and your head. And walking forward is so familiar that you will go directly to what you know well, very well. So here and there, taking a couple steps backward can give you good information. Walking backwards is interesting because it's not habitual, so your brain will resort to new ways, new patterns. What engages in the going backwards? Maybe you slow down a bit, or you use your feet more carefully. And pay attention especially to the movement of your shoulders and hips today. Perfect. And when you're ready, please find that place on the floor where you can lie down comfortably. Make sure you're uninterrupted for the next 15-20 minutes so you can leave your pets and phones outside of this space for yourself. And lie down on your back. Take a moment to do what we call a body scan, where you let your attention travel from your feet perhaps, following the pressure and contact of your body all the way in the direction of the head, slowly and easily. You're not so much instructing your body to do anything as you are witnessing what is present. The little sensations on your heels, calves, buttocks. Maybe gently comparing the one side with the other in their height, weight, length, relative to the floor. The two sides of your back, your two shoulders. Gently sensing the length of your arms and the position of your palms, where your head is resting. You're making these observations, developing awareness. You're not trying to change anything or correct anything. Simply notice what's there. And maybe you move your head a little if this feels right and comfortable, to see if it's easier to move the head in one direction or the other. Allow your attention to follow the movement, a small movement. And see that you can not only do this, but also observe your breathing and the change of pressure in your shoulders or whatever else is interesting to you. Developing expansive awareness, including more and more of the experience of your whole self as you move. Beautiful. So now let the head quiet in the middle. Observe one more time the length of your spine. Imagine where your shoulders and hips position themselves in relation to the spine, as if you were a big drawing on a piece of paper. And when you're ready, lie on your right side. Arrange yourself with your knees bent about 90 degrees. You can place your head under your right arm or a pillow. As far as the pillow is not too high, it would work out. And first of all, observe your familiar arrangement on the side. You can open your eyes and see what are you able to see in front of you. Are your eyes looking directly at the wall in front of you, or are they looking down towards your knees? And again, at the very beginning, we don't want to change much. We want to sense what's there. We want to feel, notice, observe. And now observe also that your shoulder, the left shoulder that is away from the floor, can choose very different places to rest. It could be in front of you, as if you were rolling forward. So go ahead and try that. That's not how you are right now. Positioning your shoulder a little bit in front of your chest. Your shoulder can also be on top of your ribs, or shoulder girdle more in line with the spine, or maybe can be a little bit behind you. This will change the position of your elbow. So notice, what is your familiar position as you lie on the side? What is easier for you? What feels more comfortable? And probably You do this when you lie down to sleep. You place your arm this way, your head this way, your legs this way. And that's fine. I'm going to invite you to have your knees bent about 90 degrees, kind of as if you were sitting on a chair. This will keep your lower back nice and long. And I'll ask you also to have your shoulder in the middle, not in front, not behind the spine. And to make this easier, you can keep your arm long if you want to, along the side of your body, the hand over your hips. And this is a restful position for the bones of your arm. Now, picture in your mind a little clock, round clock, old school analog clock with the 12, the 3, the 6, the 9. And imagine this clock simply lying down over your shoulder, placed on the shoulder, and is exactly in the middle of the clock, your shoulder. And now make a tiny, tiny movement, bringing the shoulder forward. Just a little bit, so if the clock has the 12 towards your ear and the 6 towards your hand, this would be more or less 9 o'clock. And your shoulder moves forward and back to neutral or the middle place. And do this 2-3 times. See if it's possible for you, easy. If it hurts, don't do it. Just think about the movement. Imagine it. And as you let your shoulder roll forward a bit, see what else wants to move as well. Perhaps a part of your chest or ribs. Maybe the contact of the right side on the floor changes. Whatever wants to move, you let it move. And then rest after a few repetitions and sense anything that is interesting. Even if this is an unusual movement for you, just sense that. Let your awareness be curious. Now, allow your shoulder to explore the opposite direction. So take it slightly back, as if in the direction of 3 o'clock. And notice, how do you do this now that your arm is slightly long and not too bent as it was before? It's not so much a movement of the arm, it's a movement of your shoulder blade. And think to yourself, how can I make this easier? What could I do or stop doing to make a simple, easy movement back, behind me, with my shoulder blade? And if something comes up, if you notice that you're tensing up somewhere, trying to work hard at this, trying to get it right, give permission to yourself to stop doing that and simply enjoy the movement. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And you can play with breathing as you move. That always helps. After 3-5 repetitions, please stop, take a little break, leaving the arm long in neutral position. And think to yourself about these different directions that we are exploring and how would it feel like to connect them both before even moving. Think about the direction forward, towards 9, or in front of you, and the direction back. Picture your ribs on the floor like a big cylinder and them rolling a little bit to facilitate the movement of the shoulder forward and back, like a big cylinder, big roller moving on the floor. And then imagine the movement being easy and effortless, enjoyable. And then go ahead and do it a couple times to see how much could you imagine and what else is there. What else is there that you didn't think about? Maybe your sternum moves or the weight changes. So use the movement to complete the image. A little bit forward, a little bit back. Your shoulder moves. And all the little bones connected to it move as well. Your collarbone, your ribs, your spine. Maybe even your head move a little bit. Maybe your legs or your hips. Your body wants to move as a whole. So sometimes it's easier actually to move everything together once you know that you can. Beautiful. So stop the movement now and see if it's easier for you now to find that middle place. And especially if you like to sleep with your arm and shoulder forward or folded, fetal position. See if now there's a little bit more interest in being more oriented towards neutral in the middle and keeping your spine long, your shoulders wide. And perhaps this invites you to change the position of your head, to keep it a little bit more upright, more in line with the spine, with a long neck. And this would mean that if you open your eyes, you see the wall in front of you more easily than your knees. So arrange yourself to be comfortable on the side, and if you need a break on your back, of course, you can take it. But if you can move a little more with me right now, imagine taking this shoulder clock in the direction of 12. So closer to your ear. Not so far that you create tension or contraction. Simply enough to feel how the whole side gets a little longer. There's some space between the ribs that is now possible. Your arm may move. And you simply go to 12 and then back. Rest for a moment. When you do it again, maybe try something new like breathing or softening your jaw. So it's not a repetitive movement, it's an exploration of how to move with more and more ease with each repetition. We're creating new pathways in your brain with these movements, and we don't want just one and only one option. We want slightly different options until we find the one that we go, oh, this pathway feels great. Now I feel that I'm breathing and I sense my ribs and the weight of my body on the floor. You can add more and more and more detail. Notice how easy this movement is. For the most part, a lot of us carry tension on the shoulders and raise them up. So this is a familiar movement, we all do it. Now let the shoulder quiet in the middle and explore the opposite direction. So you will take it now downward in the direction of your feet, as if you were going to 6 o'clock. And this for some people is not a familiar movement. This requires flexibility on your ribs because they will want to come together and fold or side bend. And you can picture your hand gliding down in the middle. So again, you're not rolling forward or back. It's a movement directly down towards 6 and then back to neutral. Sensing if it's easy, the more you do it, but don't rush to make too many repetitions. Allow yourself to stop, rest, and in your mind, imagine the two movements combined as you rest and sense yourself. Begin to think of the shoulder going up and down in this direction toward your ear, towards your feet. And making a small movement, by the way, it's not a large movement to begin with. When you feel ready, do it a couple times. Connect the 12 and the 6. Breathe into your ribs that are now expanding and contracting. And make a note of where is neutral. Where is that middle point where you're not on 12, you're not raising the shoulder towards the ear, and you're not dropping it down. And notice, what does your other shoulder know about this neutral place? What happens to the shoulder that's on the floor? And how can you use both to find neutral? Maybe 3-4 times is enough for your attention to notice this and let it go. Take a full rest. Pause, moving, and sense anything right now that is interesting. Observe your choice of resting position. And if you want to, if you are the person that is more comfortable with your arm folded in and round in front of you and the head tucked down as you lie on your side to sleep, go back to that position for a moment and see how it feels now. And if you're only thinking about the freedom of your breath and the comfort and ease for your wide shoulders and your long neck, which one feels better? Let your body choose. Now, coming back to this neutral position with the long spine and the arm in the middle, think about connecting the 4 directions. Picture in your mind this elegant and effortless movement where the clock goes from 12 to 3 to 6 to 9, slowly and easily, like a ball rolling in slow motion. Very, very little, small movements to begin with, and as it gets easier, you will make it bigger. So take your shoulder towards your ear, and then a little back behind you, and a little down, and then forward, and then up again. Go around and around, taking your time with this because we want to make it circular. We want to take care of all the little kinks and tiny tensions that we find along the way. And the smaller the movement, the easier this is to do. If you rush through it, you might skip areas where the muscle, fascia, tissue, tendon, all that intricate structure of the body is tight, and you will want to make a line or an angle, not a circle. The joint is designed to move around in circles. We're restoring that function. And once again, notice what else can you allow your body to do easily, like breathing or moving your ribs. What facilitates? What makes the movement easier? And if you catch yourself doing something that makes it more difficult, you can stop that. Tension is tricky. The clenching of our teeth, of our belly's contraction, or the fists, even the toes. Lovely, so now you come back to the middle and change the direction. Just go opposite the movement that you just did. So instead of clockwise, we'll go counterclockwise and see if there's any difference. What is easier for you? To go up and behind you, or to go up and forward? Excellent. So now let the shoulder rest for a moment in the middle. Observe the line of your spine, your head, your pelvis, and take a full break now on your back. Rest completely and notice any changes in your body that you can sense compared to the first time you lay down today. Notice your breathing. Scan your whole body, especially your chest, neck, shoulders. And if you can, move your head a little bit, right to left, and remember how this was before. Observe any differences here, and we're looking for quality of the movement, not so much range, which comes as a consequence of quality, but quality. Does the movement feel different, easier, less restricted? Is there a slight movement of your shoulder when you move your head? Wonderful. So we're going to do the movement on the other side. And if you have any restrictions or pain on that shoulder, you can place some blankets or pillows under your ribs on the left side, and that will elevate your weight off the floor. So that will put less pressure on your shoulder. Now, in this moment, you know so much about the movement that it's going to be not so easy to start over from zero like the other side. So we invite you now to cultivate beginner's mind, as if you had no idea of what we're doing. And begin by arranging yourself on this side and seeing what is easier, to keep your head long, continuation of the spine, or to fold it down and come into a fetal position. What is easier for you? Not what is right, not what is best, but take it as a window into your habitual patterns that you can look into. So start there and position your right arm wherever you find it comfortable. One alternative could be palm on the floor, the arm in front of you, the arm long along the side of your body. And thinking now of this little clock, allow your arm now, your shoulder and arm, to move in the direction of 12 o'clock. So take it up, place your shoulder as an earring. We do this all the time. Tension, holding phones, purses, all kinds of things. So let your right arm do what does so well all the time, and you just make it easier. Breathing, softening your jaw. And we don't have to do this too many times, maybe 3-4 times. Make it very precise. It's going up, staying there for a sec, coming down. You're training yourself to sense the difference between up and neutral. And all along you're noticing what else is moving. It's never just the shoulder. Perfect. Now let it rest and think of the movement down towards your knees. Imagine there's a little ribbon placed on your wrist and that someone very friendly is tugging down and pulling down on your arm. So the movement down is easy and you're reducing the effort with each repetition, doing it less and less of an effort and more of a curious movement that explores how far can this arm go, bringing the ribs with it, the right shoulder with it, and what happens to the left side, the side that is on the floor. Because the ribs move in a funny way. When one side gets shorter, the other side gets longer. Can you sense this? The left side getting longer as the right arm moves down, making the right side a little shorter. Okay. Now, in a free movement up and down, connect the two directions, and this will be so much easier than the other side because the two sides move together. So you've been already moving the right side. So you go up to 12 and down to 6. And noticing now any ripple movement on your neck and how the position of your head will change this movement. So keeping your head forward basically stops the neck from moving. And the moment your head is a little more upright, in line with your spine and your eyes looking forward, then as the shoulder moves, the neck moves. Beautiful. So now let this go and rest for a moment. Think of the top of your head and an imaginary line between the top of your head and your tailbone. And that is the line that you were tracing with your movement, that long line of your body. And now think of the movement of the shoulder back and forward a little bit and explore both directions. See what is easier. Is it easier going back a bit or forward? And take your shoulder in the easier direction a couple times, behind you and back to neutral. Or in front of you. You'll eventually do both, but I'm guiding you to follow your sensations and go first where it's easy. And see if the movement of the shoulder, once your head is long and free at the top of the spine, see if the movement of the shoulder invites your head to move a little bit, especially if it's not held in place by your arm or a pillow. If the head can move, it will want to roll a little bit as you move the shoulder back and forward. So you can allow your eyes to move, to let the head move a little bit with them. And again, there's no right way to do this. It's more about exploring what is easier for you, to look to the right when your shoulder goes back or to the left. And you just let your eyes be curious and follow the movement of the shoulder, and you'll see for yourself what is easier, more efficient. Find the direction of the movement that makes you feel at ease. Even if it's very small or very slow, this can be a very relaxing movement. And explore the opposite direction. Take it away from what was easier first and make it easier a little bit. How to involve your whole self to make it easier becomes now the experiment. Perhaps rolling your ribs a bit or moving your head. And so the shoulder doesn't feel so alone. Whenever you want to rest, you can pause, rest your arm, rest it in neutral. And think now that you're going to move the shoulder in all directions, but this time we're going to be thinking about what happens to the side that is on the floor. And really pay attention to that. So yes, you move the right shoulder now up and then back and down and forward, and it's going to go counterclockwise, but don't think about the numbers on the clock. Don't think about making the movement perfect, and be curious about how these two shoulders move together. And whatever is happening on the right side is reflected on the left side. And if you don't sense any movement, think about this as a possibility of connecting the two sides. And make it so it's lazy and not perfect. It's okay if there's mistakes in there. But especially think about the difference your head makes in this, and play with a couple different positions of your head until you find the easiest one for you. Again, the whole thing is about you. How do you like it? What is easier? More comfortable? So the head fixed down, looking in between your legs, or the head up, looking in front of you, maybe at the wall, directly in front of your eyes, or the head fixed, rigid, or moving a little bit depending on what the shoulders are doing. And the head is connected to your teeth, so play with your teeth clenched and tight, or slightly loose and open at the jaws. And again, choose whatever makes it more pleasurable for you, more enjoyable. And change the direction. And notice that on this side we added elements, and see if it made it overall easier for you to actually pay attention to more things, or if it made it more complicated. And you can always do less. When you do this lesson again, you can always do less. Beautiful. So now let this go and lie on your back one last time. Appreciating this moment of awareness, self-care, wellness that you gave to yourself today, and noticing any new sensations that are there for you to harvest. And of course, you can sense your breathing and the slight movement of your head right and left. But let your body tell the story of how did it like these shoulder circles. And when you're ready, put your feet on the ground and continue sensing. Before we even get up, imagine now that these shoulders of yours are gonna move in space, and they can be making circles as they walk. Maybe in a different plane, maybe they won't go up so much, but they are free to move in all these different directions that you just explored. So gently, when you're ready, take your legs to one side or the other, come to sit, and slowly come to stand. Don't rush into this. Savor this moment. Allow yourself to find gravity again. And become this witness to your own body movement, to your own breathing. Before you go back into the habitual way, sense now what is there. The weight on your feet, balance. How stable do you feel? The image of your shoulders in space. The position of your head over the spine. Your breathing. The choice to keep your teeth clenched or slightly open. And the intention to take that first step and just notice what's different. Go for a few steps around your space, and no expectations here, simply noticing. What can you bring into life from the lesson we just did? What can you allow to move? Where is a hidden tension that you can identify and let go of? How does it feel to keep your head up and your eyes gazing in front of you instead of forward or back or down? I hope you can take this into your day today, and thank you so much for your attention. I look forward to seeing you again next time.